Greetings, Miami jazz fans from across the world. My name is Brian Kennard, and I am happy to introduce to you a friend of the Miami Jazz Cooperative, Michael Ragan, who is going to host today's show and introduce our special guests from Barcelona. So, Michael Ragan, can you hear me? Looks like I still have you muted. There we go.
Okay.
I can hear you just fine. Great.
Thank you, Brian. It's an honor to be here. Well, thank you very much. And I hope everybody here who's listening today is going to have a absolutely spectacular time. My name is Michael Ragan. I'm coming to you from Miami. And today I want to present to you two people who are phenomenal musicians from Barcelona that I've had a chance to listen to and get to know as friends for about the last 6 or 7 years. And those two people are Andrea Motis and Carla Motis.
Hello.
Michael. Hello.
This is a very nice room you're in.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much. Okay. Anyway, so both Andrea and Carla are in Barcelona. And for those of you who don't know either of them, you'll know more about them in an hour, as you're looking at the screen on the left is Andrea, and on the right is Carla. And I'll tell you more about them in a second. But let me tell you a little bit about their background, because I think that's important to understand. Both Andrea and Carla started, please, both of you, chime in and tell me if I'm incorrect, but started initially with Joan Chamaro's St. Andrew Jazz Band program.
Yes.
Which is a phenomenally good jazz band program out of Barcelona. And actually the very interesting thing is, which is very exciting, it should be exciting for you, certainly exciting for me, is that next week, actually next Friday, this time, the St. Andrew Jazz Band will be competing as an international jazz band in the Jazz at Lincoln Center, essentially Ellington Festival. Actually next Friday, literally you can listen to it online. And there's actually, I believe, 15 schools from the United States which have competed to get into the program. And then there are 5 international programs, St. Andrew being one from Barcelona, another one from Australia, another one from Havana, Cuba, another one from Japan, and another one, I think, from Scotland. Okay. And so that's a chance to really get to see how really good and what a wonderful job that Joan Chamorro has done. Now, I don't even think that Andrea and Carla know this, but the way that I first heard you guys play, both of you play, is actually Deborah and myself actually were visiting Barcelona in 2013. And as it happened, it was the Monday after Easter, and we decided to go down to Plaza Real, which I'm sure I'm not pronouncing correctly.
Yeah.
And we decided we would have lunch. And we walked in to look for a place to sit, and we saw this great little stage where all of you and this was 7 years ago, so you were much younger. I was much younger, but you were much younger. And I thought, isn't this great? There's this wonderful group of young people who are going to be playing, looks like big band music. And I thought, well, I'm sure they'll play like, what we'd expect to hear from normal teenagers or something like that. Okay. And I remember Deborah and I sat down, and then the next thing you started playing, and you were playing like professional music. I mean, it was just amazing sound. And I know initially when I first heard it, I turned to Deborah, I said, maybe they're not playing, maybe someone's playing a recording behind them, and you're just pushing the instruments down like this. Right. And I thought maybe it was synced. So then I walked up there.
Wow.
And as it happened, that was one of those things. It was was it called bar swinga, when you have the swing dancers?
Yeah, bar swingona or something like this.
Yeah. And so therefore I didn't expect the fact that all of a sudden there were going to be perhaps 500 professional swing dancers dancing all around me too, which was great.
Wow.
So I've come back every year for that. I know this year, well, obviously because of the pandemic, Bar Swinga was canceled or postponed.
Yeah.
But that's how I met you. And now I want the whole rest of the people who are listening to us today to meet you. So first of all, why don't we start with you, Andrea? Tell me a little bit about yourself, and then what we'll do is we'll hear something from Carla, and then what I'd rather do is hear your music, because that's what I want to hear.
Okay. No, you did already most of the job, because I've been playing with this big band that you mentioned, the San Andreas Jazz Band, for 10 years. I started at 11, and I left it at 21, and I'm 25 now. Because once you get older, you're retired, let's say, and then new people gets in, because it's like a life. It's not always the same people. It's always like renewing itself with fresh new children.
Well, no, absolutely. And the thing that I think is amazing for me and for all of the musicians who are listening is that you not only play the trumpet, and you clearly play the flugelhorn, and I know that you play the saxophone, because I've seen you play soprano sax, and I think we'll see some of that today. I think
Yeah,
I've seen you play alto sax too, right?
yeah, that's right. Yes.
And I know, and then you're obviously an excellent vocalist. Am I missing any instruments?
No, I can't
So,
play anything else.
oh, well, that's more than enough. And then Carl, of course, is an absolutely exquisite guitarist. What I
Yeah,
think is, and a vocalist, and
yeah. She plays some strings like banjo and ukulele. He has played
and
in
band.
some of the
Well,
tunes in the band. Yeah,
and in,
but
in fact, that's interesting, because I think the very first song that I heard you play on, Carla, was that day in 2013, which was when you played China Boy.
Oh,
If you remember,
yeah.
where
Yeah.
you played the banjo.
In Plaza Real, yeah.
Yeah, Plaza Real, and it was amazing.
it's
And
so
I think
lucky that you were there that day, because it's not so often. It's only once a year,
Yeah.
or something like this. So,
well, it's
so
interesting,
cool.
because it's interesting because we were finished lunch, and we turned around and you were all gone, and we never heard your name. And it actually took me another 2 or 3 years going back to Barcelona
Wow.
to actually find out who you all were. And the next time I saw you is when actually, Andrea, you were doing a show. I think you were there as well, Carla, with Rita Payas. Is it Sala Apollo over on, is
Yeah,
it
yeah, 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 yeah.
Avenue Parallel? Avenue Parallel?
Parallel,
Yeah,
yeah.
Parallel, okay.
parallel. Yeah, parallel.
And that was wonderful. And then since then, of course, well, I mean, I saw you, both back in November. I was supposed to see you all in April, but unfortunately, we got everything postponed. But let's get to the music, because nobody wants to hear about me. Carla, the first tune we want to hear now, Carla. First of all, the first tune we want to hear, and maybe you can tell us a little bit about it. I think it's an absolutely beautiful tune. It's "Everything Happens to Me," and this is one of the Juan Chamorro, where he presents, each of his people of his band, and you've got a CD out, which we're going to put the methods whereby the people listening can purchase your CDs. But this was one of what they call the Jazz House sessions, and I think you're
Yeah.
also, are you also performing with Scott Hamilton in this? I think, or no?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I
Is
had the
there?
big opportunity to play with him.
And I love Scott Hamilton. There is
I
a
love it too.
there's a musician who never plays a wrong note. Every note is exactly right.
Yeah.
So before we go any further, let's have everybody else so they can hear exactly what an exquisite musician you are. And Brian, if you can play "Everything Happens to Me" as the very first tune from the Jazz House.
Sorry about that, everyone. For some reason, our sound cut out there. So let me try that again. Sometimes technology just doesn't work for us. So give me just a second to get some of that lovely music back up here. Here we go. All right, we're gonna start that from the beginning. Here we go.
Well, that was wonderful. And Carl, that was absolutely beautiful. And for those who are watching, people, that is actually Juan Chamarro's home, the Jazz House, which is actually a great place to be. I've been actually fortunate enough that I was actually there, allowed to attend one of your rehearsals back in November of 2018. And it's a pretty amazing place. Well, let's
the
go
whole
to
big band, or
well, actually, I have the whole big band. It was actually before you were doing the program at the Palau de la Musica in Catalonia. And, I mean, I was there with, another 20 people in the room. It was absolutely spectacular. I mean, it was great. But that tune is beautiful. But, actually now what I love, Carla, what I love is the next tune is one of my favorite tunes and nobody plays it. Okay. And it's, of course, I'm a big Charlie Mingus fan. And therefore I love Peggy's Blue Skylight.
I love Charlie. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I remember the first time, I think I may have been, I think this was recorded in Jamboree Jazz Club. And I think I may have been there that night. And I remember thinking, my goodness, how can someone as young as Carla know even who Charlie Mingus is, much less...
You knew this tune?
Yes, exactly. And I was actually...
the only person in the room
that you know.
I could have been, And I was amazed that you were playing, of all, not only just a Mingus tune, but Peggy's Blue Skylight, which is wonderful. So let's go ahead, Brian. Let's go ahead and get into Peggy's Blue Skylight and hear a beautiful rendition, and then she can talk. Great, that's a great solo. And what I should tell the people who are listening is, you get the opportunity there to see a smaller version of Juan Chamaro's big band, and you hear exactly how good they are. And we see also that that was recorded at the Jamboree Jazz Club, which is, for me, is one of the finest jazz clubs in, I think, in the world. And that's a great arrangement by Joan Monet, right? Didn't Joan Monet do the arrangement for that tune?
Yeah, the arrangement.
Joan Monet.
That one, okay.
Exactly.
And of course,
yeah, he's a pianist from here, from Barcelona.
Exactly, and he does some great arrangements. We should all also tell the audience that Juan Chamorro actually played the bass there, as he did in the previous one, and that the other person playing the piano was Ignacy Terrazzi, who is one of my favorite pianists, and of course. Andrea, you were playing there, and Rita was playing trombone, and I guess Elia and
I was very lucky to be playing at Carla's album and Joan's album. Yeah,
well, that's great.
This day, the recording was fun, and all the selection of tunes, I liked it very much.
No, it's absolutely great. And Carla, anytime you want to do any more Charlie Mingus tunes, that would be great. I will. I've got a whole series of selections.
I will do it.
Oh no, that would be great.
Yeah.
Now the next tune, which I think is great because it's a tune that most people don't think of as a jazz tune, okay, or a jazz standard. And this is a tune. Well, we'll let them play. But what this also shows is this is I believe it's recorded with Joel Fromm, who again is one of my favorite tenor sax players.
Yeah.
And this is in the beautiful, and I'm not going to pronounce it correctly, and I apologize, but is it the Palau de la Música Catalana?
El Palau de la Música.
Yeah, Música Catalana, which to me is not only a beautiful room to hear music, but it's also just a beautiful room.
Yeah, it really pays to go there and just to see the building, right?
Absolutely.
It's such a modern.
Yeah, it's like nobody else can see it.
Yeah, amazing.
But I think we should go, and Carla, unless you want to tell anything about this tune, I think it's great. Let's surprise the group, because I think they'll be a little surprised when they hear which tune you're playing and exactly how good jazz you can play on this tune. So, Brian, go ahead.
This is.
Yeah.
This
sorry.
is. Oh,
yeah,
no. This is a arrangement that give to me a guy in Africa. See the San Andreu, and that its name is Pecos River Jazz Band.
Yeah, Pecos Rivers Jazz Band. Maybe I don't know if you may know it, but he's
John Smith.
John Smith, yeah, from the States, and he is a follower of the San Andreu Jazz Band too, and he gave us some charts for Carla to play it.
This arrangement to us, to San Andreu, to play it.
No, that's perfect. Actually, I'm familiar with them, and when we finally get out of this whole mess we're in now, I do want to go out to Dallas to hear them, because they're in Dallas, Texas. And I know that I think that Elia,
we never had the chance.
Right, but I think it's a great.
Yeah, that's right. Elia was about to go
exactly
there,
right at the beginning of that. So
exactly, yes.
Okay, well now that's great. Do you have anything more to say about the tune? If not, the tune speaks for itself.
That I love it only.
That's perfect.
I
love the tune.
I like about it that's a lot of bluesy. It's a very bluesy tune, and Carla loves bebop and always plays a lot of bebop. And I like hearing her play blues.
And it's inspired by Herb Ellis,
the great
that I love it.
And that's a perfect inspiration. So Brian, let's go ahead. Let's play the next tune then.
Come on. Right.
Beautiful, beautiful solo. And Andrea, beautiful solo by you as well. And I hope that the
Thank you
audience.
so much.
No, thank you. I mean, and of course, Joel, of course, is always just a phenomenal player.
Yeah. Always very
So
well.
inspiring. Yes, such a
He really
good
is,
piano
isn't he?
player.
And I hope,
Amazing, yeah.
I hope the people can see exactly how beautiful that auditorium is, because, you know, you really don't exactly appreciate how beautiful it is until you get in there. But that's absolutely wonderful. So now, Carla, is there anything else you wanted to tell us more about that tune? Because we've got the next tune actually is an interesting tune, because it actually makes it's an actually very fun tune for me to listen to. And this is the tune of you guys actually doing a duo together on or singing as a duo on Sister Kate.
Ah, yeah.
And you guys are wonderful. You know, mi corazon, it makes me feel great. Okay. Is there anything you want to tell us
Thanks.
about it? Oh no, it's wonderful.
It kind of fits with the title, right?
Yeah.
Because it's like made
It
for
absolutely does.
a similar voice to sing it together. We knew it through some sisters that they are called the Diddy Bops, and they sing together, and it, you know, their voice matched so well, and we knew it from them, and about singing it at some point. And also we know now a very special version that I favorite singers, Cecile McLaurin Salvant.
Sure.
And she sings it so amazingly, and very her version too.
Well, no, that's true. And you know, if you remember, was we were fortunate enough to actually come over to Bern, Switzerland, to see you in the jazz festival when you were performing with Cecile.
Oh,
was
yeah.
that? Last May, right? I mean, that was wonderful.
Yeah, last May.
It was
By
absolutely
my
spectacular.
birthday
It was by
the
your
best
birthday.
birthday, you know.
It was a great place
With my
to be.
idol.
Oh, and she
Yeah.
is wonderful. And she's actually, you know, she's originally from Miami, of all things. from our town.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, exactly. But she studied
Wow.
in France. So
Great.
actually, Brian, let's go ahead
Yeah.
and I think the audience will really enjoy this next tune. There's some great singing by you guys, great playing by both you and I think Rita. So let's go ahead and hear Sister
Yeah.
Kate.
And Luigi.
Yeah,
Oh,
Luigi
that's-
Grasso.
Luigi, of
Yeah.
course, playing baritone, of course.
Exactly.
So go ahead, Brian.
When I could see me like my sister Kate, shaking like a ball of jelly on a plate. My mama wanted to know last night. Sister Kate could do it all so nice now. All the boys in the neighborhood get a good shimmy and smiling good now. Maybe late, but I'll be up to date. But I could see me like my sister Kate. Oh yeah, shaking like my sister Kate. When I could see me like my sister Kate, I never stay home, stay up too late. I give myself world as high as I can. You know I do it for you every night now. All the boys in the neighborhood get a good shimmy and smiling good now. Maybe late, but I'll be up to date. When I could see me like my sister Kate. Oh yeah, shaking like my sister Kate. When I could see me like my sister Kate, shaking like a ball of jelly on a plate. My mama wanted to know last night. My sister Kate could do it oh so nice now. All the boys in the neighborhood getting good, see me, I smiling good now. Maybe late, but I'll be up to date. When I could see me like my sister Kate, oh yeah, shaking like my sister Kate, that's right. See me like my sister Kate.
That is just great. That is so much fun. And you're right, I've forgotten Luigi Grasso playing baritone sax, and of course I shouldn't fail to mention that was Esteve P on piano or on drums, correct?
On drums, yeah.
And Joseph Travers on guitar,
Yeah,
and Ignacy playing piano, Ignacy Terrazza. So that's wonderful to hear. I mean, that makes me happier every time I hear that. And in a second,
It's the polytone of our mothers on the phone. When they call, when it rings, it sounds this.
is that right? Is that your ringtone?
It's one of the things that we sing together.
Oh, that's
the
great.
only one.
The only one, I think.
Oh, that is phenomenal.
Fun
Okay,
fact.
well, your parents are very, very fortunate, very lucky. And well, I guess when we go on to the next one, the next tune we have, of course, is "Summertime," and I think that's a solo for Andrea. Is anything you want to tell us about Andrea about that, or?
I just want to say maybe that it's the first album. It's my third album, but it's the first one where I started improvising on it, I think.
And it was recorded at Jamboree, right? I think
live at Jamboree with the great Scott Hamilton again.
Exactly.
And with my quintet, with Joan Chamorro, with Josep Trave, Ignacy Terrazza, and Esteve P, the ones that were playing in this previous video.
Exactly.
And for me, the nice thing of this album is this fact that I was starting to improvise, and this was a one step more, to me to approach. And it was full of standards of all times, and especially classical jazz, like that kind of songs that Scott Hamilton really masters also.
Absolutely. And before we go any further, Brian, can we put up the link to Jazz for where they can purchase the CDs?
Mm-hmm.
And it's important for everybody looking at this is that, first of all, Andrea, of course, has her own website, which Brian will put up again in a second. But Jazz is a website wherein you can purchase not only Carla's CDs, Andrea's CDs, all of the CDs and the various videos, DVDs that have been done by the band for the last, I guess, 10, 12 years, maybe more? I don't know.
Everything more or less of the San Andreu Jazz Band, related to the San Andreu Jazz Band, me or anything that John Chamorro presents. DVDs of ours,
Andrea and San Andreu Jazz Band.
Yeah, it's just something we made to really have it all together.
And what with the people listening, I mean, what you'll understand is not only you can always see exactly how excellent the musicianship is from both Carla and Andrea, but not to mention also just in the recording is it David who does the recording? I don't know, I can't pronounce his last name.
Yeah,
okay.
We call him Middlehouse. You can call him Middlehouse because that is what it means.
Oh, okay, that'd be easy for me. Okay, and then of course the videographer is usually Ramon Tort, right?
Yes, exactly.
Okay. And so
and for the sound, just want to mention that normally, sometimes it's David Middlehouse, like David Casamiggiana, but sometimes it's Pep Roach, especially with the San Andreu Jazz Band videos, CDs.
Sound mastering.
Yeah, he's doing the mixes and mastering. The Pep Roach is another one, very good friend and good sound engineer.
And what I'll tell the people who are listening is that there are, when you get on this website, it's an amazingly interesting website because there's so much information about the band and about the people and about all of the people who've, been through the band I guess the band has been in existence in various forms since I think 2006, right? About 14 years, 14
Yeah.
hours.
Yeah.
And so there's been quite a few people.
You mean the San Andreu Jazz?
Yes, San Andreu, yes.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
And there's been quite a few people who've rotated through. So there's all of their CDs as well as all of your CDs and DVDs. And I suggest to anybody listening, it's really worthwhile to, not only just take a look at this music on YouTube, but to purchase the music as well. But before we go any further, Brian, let's go ahead and let's cue up the next tune, which will show you exactly when Andrea began to improvise in her vocals.
And living easy, freezer dumping, and a cotton is style. Oh, your daddy's rich, and your mommy's good looking. Full highs, little baby. Summertime and living is easy. Fish are dumping and the garden is done. Oh, your dad is strange and your mommy's good looking. Oh, hi, little baby, don't you cry.
Wonderful job. Beautiful
Thank you
singing.
so much.
Beautiful singing. And I tell everyone listening, it's just, you all have to get to Barcelona. You have to hear these people, all these musicians, everyone you've heard so far this afternoon, you're here to hear them play. And what we need to think about, obviously, before both Carla and Andrea, is we need to get you back to the United States. Just like we had a chance to see you last July. Up
You
at
know that
Disney.
Carla was very close to. Oh yeah. That last July at this, and also every July I'm going to California to be part of the Stanford Jazz Workshop, which I'm
Exactly.
very glad and proud and happy to go there because it's such an exciting workshop. I love it very much. And these last 2 years, Carla and some other members of the San Andreas Jazz Band, together with John Chamorro, were about to go, but at the end it wasn't possible. But they were very close to really get to go with me and with John Chamorro to be part of this Stanford Jazz Workshop in California, which is really amazing.
See, I think that's great. First of all, you should be both of you should be very honored to be asked by the Stanford Jazz Workshop because it's a preeminent organization.
Yeah.
And then the other issue is that, you can then, you use your abilities to teach those other young kids, young students who are there, both of you.
Amazing, yeah.
To learn, the teaching methods that John Chamorro has clearly perfected so well, and it's just an amazing thing. One thing before we get too far into this, I wanted to remind the audience, and actually remind both of you, if wish, we're going to be having another listening party, actually Friday, July 3rd, actually from the Jazz House with Juan Chamorro.
Oh, that's great.
And Elia Bastida.
Okay.
And is it Elba Armango?
Yeah.
Okay. And you if you're here around, you're certainly welcome to come and join us as well, because I wanted to take and obviously spotlight Juan's Jazz House and all that.
Yeah, thank you.
No one wants to hear me talk, but let's go ahead and go for the next tune, which is Feeling Good. And again, Andrea, tell me about this.
So this is a little bit from a little earlier than the last one.
And yes,
this is from my second album called Feeling Good, the same title. And the cover is drawing in green. And, this was an amazing session too, because we had the other Scott Robinson,
right,
on the multiple instruments. I think this concert was called Multiple Instruments, Multiple Colors, because this is another live show recorded on the Palau de la Música, the same nice venue. And we recorded there with Scott Robinson and some other special guests. And, this was a special album for me too, to performing this tune, very famous, thanks to Nina Simone.
Oh, of course, Nina Simone, of course. Well, Brian, let's hear the tune.
Birds flying high, you know how I feel. High in the sky, you know how I feel. Breeze drifting on by, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me, yeah. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me. Ooh, and I'm feeling good. Fish in the sea, you know how I feel. We were running free, you know how I feel. There's among the trees, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me, and I'm feeling good. Dragonflies out in the sun, you know what I mean, don't you know? Butterflies are having fun, you know what I mean. Sleep in peace when the heat's gone, that's what I mean. And this whole world, it's a new world, in this whole world for me. Star, when you shine, you know how I feel. Sand of fun, you know how
And Alba here is so sweet,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, exactly.
So
No,
small.
that's just a wonderful performance. Nina would love that. And of course, we see that in the background. You could see Elia and Elba playing, and there it was great.
Oh yeah.
No, you should be
Young
really proud
members
of
the
that.
Assembly.
And
Thanks.
and I guess millions and millions of people have watched that video. Is that correct?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
This
it's
is one
amazing.
of the most like filmy videos.
Exactly. Well, you should be proud. Everyone should see that. Well, now tell me, because I think the next video for me is a very much of a favorite, because as I remember from your documentary, that you're also a dancer as well, right? And you did quite a bit of dance. Exactly. And you succeed. So you're multi-talented. But what I think is interesting here is this is from is it Teatro Grec? Is it the Greek theater?
Yeah.
Can you tell us about it? Because it's kind of a multimedia experience. So set this
I would
up.
just to say that it's probably my favorite theater in the world.
Oh, it's wonderful.
It's outside. Most of the shows they program there are in summer. This, beautiful and very soft and charming Spanish summers, let's say, that it's very warm, and you feel just very good because there's some breeze normally, and if it's good weather, then at night it's just perfect. And I've only got the chance to play there a few times. First time with the San Andreu Jazz Band, and second time I think was already this time that we're gonna hear and see now. And this was also a very special moment because it was the first show that I kind of organized by myself, because it was really like my first production, let's say. I really had this idea of doing a 3-part show. First part was pure jazz with my quintet. The second part was, let's say, songs and dance. Songs with dancers, with these 2 dancers, very good dancers that we are going to see now, singing and dancing one tune of a singer-songwriter from here called Joan Manuel Serrat, and this song is called Mediterranean, right? And the third part of the show was all funk music, with even 2 girls playing chorus. I know there are not videos about it on YouTube, but there will be very soon, so you will be able to see the show. And I hope one day we can repeat it in here or somewhere. But it was special, very special.
No, and it is. Well, what I've seen is very special, and you need to make sure you tell me when you repeat it again.
Okay.
And absolutely, because I'll definitely be there. But so Brian, let's go. Let's watch and hear the music of this beautiful, beautiful next tune.
Quizás porque mi niñez sigue jugando en tu playa, y escondido tras las cañas duerme mi primer amor. Llevo tu luz y tu loco por donde quiera que vaya, y amontonado en tu arena guardo amor, juegos y penas. Yo, que en la piel tengo el sabor amargo del llanto eterno, que han vertido en ti 100 pueblos de Algeciras a Estambul para que pintes de azul sus largas noches de invierno. Y a fuerza de desventuras, tu alma es profunda y oscura. A tus atardeceres rojos se acostumbraron mis ojos como el recodo del camino. Soy cantor, soy embustero, me gusta el juego y el vino, tengo alma de marinero. ¿Qué le voy a hacer si yo nací en el Mediterráneo? si te vas después de besar mi aldea. Eres como una marea, te vas pensando en volver. Eres como una mujer perfumadita de brea, que se añora y que se quiere, que se conoce y se teme. Ay, si un día para mi mar viene a buscarme la parca y empuja a calmar mi barca en un levante otoñal y deja que el temporal desguace sus alas blancas, y a mí enterradme sin duelo entre la playa y el cielo. En la ladera de un monte más alto que el horizonte quiero tener buena vista. Mi cuerpo será el camino, le daré verde a los pinos y amarillo a la genista. Cerca del mar porque yo nací en el Mediterráneo.
Well, you were right. That is absolutely beautiful.
Oh.
The whole multimedia, once again, showing, how both of you are multi-instrumentalists. Again, just playing beautifully on the saxophone, and those dancers. You should be so very proud of having put that together.
Oh yeah, these dancers. They are called Julia, the older one. They are sisters too.
Mm-hmm.
Julia and Martina Miró, and they are from a family of Mallorca, the island.
Really?
And yeah, and the father is the teacher and the choreographer of the whole thing, and they are amazing family of dancers.
Wow.
I'm so proud of them.
In fact, I think I may have seen a video just recently in which one of the dancers, one of those young ladies, may have danced, and I think you sang and in the video as well. Exactly right. It was very pretty.
Yeah, they are participating, both of them, in my last video clip of my last album that is Antonico of the album Do Otro Lado do Azul, the Brazilian album. I think we have it here too in the videos, right?
We do, and in
because
fact,
they are the same dancers.
Oh, they are. Okay.
Well, yeah, a little bit grown up, but same dancers.
And before, okay, you should lead us into the tune Antonica. Okay, and again, you need to tell the name of the album because I think it's in Portuguese. Is it Portuguese?
Yeah.
Okay, well,
Portuguese, yeah. Do outro lado do azul. I try my
okay.
best to.
No, you do perfectly. And actually, Brian, before we cue that up, can you put up again, Jazz to Jazz? This is where you can purchase the music, which is, I think is people have seen exactly what's important. And of course, Andrea's website. One thing that I think is pretty evident from the very small amount of music we played today, the 8 pieces, is the fact that both Carla and Andrea, under the tutelage of Joan Chamorro, they play multiple different types of music. We're talking about playing music in quintets or playing in big bands, or you've played with symphony orchestras where I've seen that as well. And I've seen that you played music from the 20s, from the 30s, up to very, very contemporary music, which to me is just an amazing achievement. You should be so very proud.
We're very lucky, because Jan is such an active man and such a, he has a lot of energy to really put together many different things and attitude. Yeah, and he wants to invite the greatest musician from both states and here, and always have this kind of collaborations that really make us have such a great times, musical times, and learn, and it's an honor and a great experience. Yes.
Well, and I should tell the people that not only should they be looking for both of Carla's and yours concerts in Barcelona and all over the world, but also Joan and the San Andrew Jazz Band usually has, for the last several years, has a jazz festival called Jazzing. And I know that this year's Jazzing is scheduled for the first week in September, but who knows what's going to happen?
Yeah, maybe it's not a very good moment. I would say even if it, in theory, it will work this year as well. But as the times are as they are, maybe from so far away as Miami, one never know, if it's a good idea to really go this year. But anyways, hopefully it will work this year. I think it's gonna be a little shorter, not some weekends, but only one. I think it's gonna be 3 or 4 days only, like from Thursday to Sunday. And let's say next year we're gonna celebrate the 6th edition or 7th edition, something like this. And
really?
And then of the Jazzing. So that would be a great moment, because I'm pretty sure that by this time we will have the full blossom of the festival.
Perfect. And I suggest to everyone, if they haven't been to Barcelona, it's absolutely worthwhile. It's worthwhile to go to San Andrew, which is a wonderful neighborhood, and to see the expanse and the whole spectrum of the Jazzing Festival. You'll see everyone you've seen today and dozens more. Which is great. So now the next tune is Antonica. Tell us about that, because it's a beautiful tune. In fact, I think I actually when I looked at this, I think I recognized the violinist.
Yes. You mean which one? The next video or
the next one? Isn't that Antonica?
Yeah. The violinist. Yeah. Maybe it's not very known, but we are together.
And he's an excellent musician, and I've met him, and he's a very, very interesting person. But so tell us about this. It's a beautiful. And where in Barcelona was this filmed? Where, in which area? Yeah,
in some streets in the center, in the Gothic center, and Raval, and the most old areas. And it's kind of and the house where it's recorded, it's kind of old too inside, and from it also shows street.
Whoops.
Christoph, he's Austrian. Oh no, you were talking about Christoph, and he's the invited guest in this album. Also, he's Austrian, and I think he's one of the few jazz violinists that we have nowadays. And I think I like very much the touch of the violin in this Brazilian music. And here in the video clip, you can see, as I said, these two dancers, and Christoph and me doing this kind of little video clip history.
Well, that's great. Now, Brian, if we could play this, and then after the tune, let's bring us back so we can say goodbye and thank both Carla and Andrea for this. And let's hear Antonica.
Thank you.
Thank you.
pedir um favor que só depende da sua boa vontade. É necessário uma viração pra onde estou, que está vivendo em grande dificuldade. Ela está mesmo dançando na corda bamba. Ela é aquele que na escola de samba toca boica, toca surdo e tamborim. Faça por ele como se fosse por mim. Faça por ele como se fosse por mim. Faça por ele como se fosse por mim.
That's a beautiful video and a beautiful song. It really is a beautiful song. Well, I really want to thank both of you so much for, spending this time with us today. I hope that more people have had a chance to see exactly how talented the both of you are. And I hope
Thanks
we've
so
allowed-
much, Michael. It was really a pleasure, and we really appreciate to be here.
No, I mean, it's my honor to be speaking with you. And I hope that everyone, we've got more people who will be interested, and obviously they will be interested in listening and buying your CDs and seeing that what we've shown today is literally 5% of the music that you've done. I mean, there's so much more and so much more in terms of just the expansive various different types of styles. And you're both still so very young in your careers, and I expect to see so much more. We need to get
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Oh, no, absolutely. I mean, one of the things I will certainly be coming back to Barcelona when we're allowed to travel.
Yeah.
Good to see you. And certainly we need to get you over to the United States. We need to get you to Stanford again.
Yeah, that would be great. We plan to go there in July next year. So hopefully we will do some tour around.
And in the interim, we'll get you to Miami, because Miami's kind of on the way to Stanford.
Yes,
That would be good.
yes. I was in Miami the first time this year. I was starting a cruise.
The cruise ship, right?
Yeah, the Jazz at Sea
Exactly.
cruise ship that Alan Bashir, one of my other idols too, of the clarinet, he
Absolutely.
organized that and he invited me, and it was such an amazing time.
No, exactly. I saw that was great. And so that was a wonderful time. You had just probably one day in Miami, correct? You just
Yeah. Only the first day and the last day.
Well,
Yeah.
I think we've come to our end of our time. Is there anything else you can tell the people who, to tell them more about your experiences? And we really, really thank you. And I want to say thank you very much. And you could say thank you to our friends here who are watching us.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yes, we appreciate it.
Oh, well, and please, and by the way, thank you, your dad. Please say hello to Ramon for me and
Oh,
your
yeah?
mom. Okay.
Okay.
They're the stars of the show as well.
Okay.
So,
I'm
and I
gonna
also
see
want to thank you both very much for being so talented and being so very appreciative and
Thanks to you,
sharing
Michael.
yourself. And I really want to thank the Miami Jazz Cooperative, all the people involved in that who've allowed us to take and show some new, absolutely spectacular international talent. And I guess with that, Brian, I think we can turn it over to you, or I think the show is over.
All right. Well, thank you all for joining us today. And thank you to the audience who tuned in all over the world. I hope you all enjoyed the wonderful music we listened to. Before we go, just a little bit of advertising. The Miami Jazz Cooperative has some weekly shows that we're doing that are going on through the summer, especially while this pandemic is still happening. On Monday nights, Eastern Standard Time, 8:00 p.m., Nikki Orta and Wendy Peterson host a Monday night show with interviews with musicians from Miami and elsewhere this Monday night, June 8th. It's going to be Otello Molino.
No, yes.
Molino. And I do a show on Thursday nights, another listening party, which we have a good time all the time. And this next Thursday, we'll be joined by alto saxophonist David Leon, who's a Miami native, living in New York City right now. So please check back with us on the live streams for those shows. And we hope that you can, if you don't catch us on the live stream, the video will be up on YouTube and Facebook, so you can check them out afterwards. So without further ado, thank you all.
Thanks.
And
Thank
we
you.
hope to see you sometime in the States or overseas
Yeah.
sometime soon.
Yeah, sure.
And one more thing, we'll be doing July 3rd for another group of Barcelona musicians. Okay, Joan and the rest of them, so you'll hear
Wow,
more
yeah.
of this. So come back July 3rd at least.
That's right. All right. Well, thank you all. Stay
Thank you.
safe, and
You too.
we
Thank
hope
you.
to see you again soon.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.